Santosha. My name is Mriti Magesh and I'm a student of UPFNA. Today I'll demonstrate asanas that help with diabetes. Before you do these asanas, remember to consult with a doctor if you have any major health issues. Remember to do these asanas on an empty stomach either in the morning or in the evening. Regular practice of these asanas from 15 to 20 minutes can help ease pain or relieve stiffness in the body. Remember while you're doing these asanas to focus your mind on your breath. Let's start with the asanas. The first asana is Vajrasana, also known as thunderbolt pose. First, what you do is keep your legs straight in front of you and then keep your both legs underneath your hips. Then you would like to keep your hands on your thighs and then make sure your back is straight. You would like to hold this asana for one time and do it after you eat food. You would like to hold this asana for 5 minutes. Next asana is Mandukasana. It's also known as frog pose. We can do this asana from the Vajrasana. First, you have to sit in Vajrasana and then you have to keep your hands in a fist. First, place your thumbs inside and then curl your fingers over in a fist. Then, place your fist hands and then place them on your stomach. Then, keep your back straight and bend down. Do this asana for 3 times, 10 seconds each. The next asana that helps with diabetes is Gomukhasana, also known as cow face pose. First, you would like to stretch your legs right in front of you, and then you have to keep your left leg under your right hip, and then your right leg over your left knee. Then you would like to arch your hand back, and then you would like to bring your left hand back too. And then you would like to interlock your fingers. You would like to do this for 1 time, each leg, and hold it for 30 seconds. Next, we'll be doing Pakshimottanasana, also known as seated forward bend. To do this, first place your legs in front of you, and then hold your ankles or your toes. Then you bend down and touch your knee with your forehead. Do this pose 1 time and hold for 30 seconds. We're doing Meru Vakrasana. It is also called a spinal twist. First, keep your legs stretched out in front of you, and then take your left leg and put it over your right. Then take both of your hands and place it at the back. Then look towards your left side and hold this side for 30 seconds. Then come up and do the next side. Place your right leg over your left and then stretch your arms and then place them at the back and then look towards your right side. Also hold the side for 30 seconds. In this practice, make sure to do both sides and each side hold on for 30 seconds. Next asana we will be doing is Shava Udra Rakshasana. It is also called as universal spinal twist. First, lie down on your back and keep your hands stretched equal distance apart. Then, place your left leg on your right knee and take your right hand, put it on your left knee, and then push it down. And when you're down, look at your left thumb. Hold this pose for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, come up and do the right side. Place your right leg over your left knee, then take your left hand and place it on your right knee, push your right knee down, and look at your right thumb. Also hold this side for 30 seconds. Then slowly come up and relax. Do both sides of this asana and do it for 30 seconds. Next asana is Sarvankasana. It is also called as shoulder pose. First, lie down on your back and then slowly bring your legs up and then hold your hips. Then distribute the weight evenly throughout your body and then hold this pose for about 1 minute to 30 seconds. In your practice this asana 1 time. From Sarvangasana, we are going to go into Halasana, which is also called as plow pose. First, from Sarvangasana, slowly bring your legs down until your toes are touching the ground. Then, come up slowly. You would also like to do this asana from 30 seconds to a minute and practice it 1 time. The next asana is Sedu Bandhasana. It is also called as bridge pose. First, lie down on the ground and then scoot your legs forward and place your hands underneath your hips. Then rise your hips as much as possible and try to make your chin touch your chest. And then try not to place your head up. Make it flat on the ground. Then slowly exhale, relax down. Practice this asana for 3 times and do this asana 10 seconds each time. The next asana is Dhanurasana. It is also called as bow pose. First, lie down on your stomach and then bring your legs up and hold your ankles with your hands. Then bring your back up with your head and stay in this pose. Then slowly relax down. Do this asana for 3 times and each time do it for 10 seconds. The next asana is Trikonasana. It is also called as triangle pose. First, stretch your legs an equal distance apart and then stretch your hands an equal distance apart. Then you would like to bend towards your left side. Once you're bent towards your left side, look at your right thumb. Slowly come up and then bend towards your right side. When bending towards your right side, look at your left thumb. Then slowly come up and relax. Do this asana for 3 times and each time hold it for 10 seconds. The final asana is Shavasana. It is also called as horse pose. First, lie down at your back and place your hands beside your legs. Close your eyes and focus your mind on your breathing. Relax your body. Do this asana for 1 time and practice it for 3 to 5 minutes. Then after 3 to 5 minutes is over, slowly come up and relax. Santosham, and thank you all for watching.
Santosham. My name is Shima and I am a student of UPFA. Today I'm going to be showing you asanas that help with stomach digestion disorder. Before we start, please check in with your doctor if you have any severe conditions. The first asana that I will be showing you is Vajrasana. Vajrasana means thunderbolt pose. The first thing you will do is go to sitting pose. Next, bring both of your legs under your thighs. Then put your hands on your thighs. The benefits of Vajrasana is it stretches your thighs, ankles, and legs. It also helps with digestion. The next pose I will be showing you is Supta Vajrasana. Supta Vajrasana means sleeping thunderbolt pose. The benefits for Supta Vajrasana is it stretches your thighs, legs, and ankles, and also helps with digestion and the stomach disorder. First, what we'll do is go sitting still. Next, we will go to Vajrasana. After your Vajrasana, we'll bring both of our legs to the side of our hips. While holding your legs, we'll bring both of our elbows to the ground and go directly to the back. Put your hands in Namaste pose. Do this for 30 seconds. Firmly press your hands to the ground and go directly to Shishingasana. The next pose I will be showing you is Paschimottanasana. Paschimottanasana is seated forward bend. This strengthens your abdominal muscles and helps with digestion. The first thing I will do is go to sitting still. Next we will raise our arms up and we will bend down. Either hold your ankles or your toes and put your forehead to raising your arms up, bring them down. Next is I will be showing you Malasana. Malasana means garland pose. What you will first do is you will go up and bring your heels together, your toes apart. Next, you will sit down and put your feet spread apart, and you will go down. Put your feet spread apart to shoulder level, and put your shoulders pressing against, and keep your back straight. This asana helps with strengthening your legs, also helps with digestion. Go back up. Next pose I will be showing you is Ardha Vajrasana. Ardha Vajrasana is half spiral twist. First, I will be going to sitting steady pose. Then we'll do both sides. The first, I will bring my right leg over my left leg, bring my left leg under my right hip, then take my right hand and go over and hold my right toes, and take my left hand and bring it behind my back and hold my left toe. And look back to your shoulder. Next, I will do the other side. I'll bring my left leg over my right leg, and then my right leg under my left hip. Then I will bring my left hand and hold my left leg, and then bring my right hand and hold my right. And this asana helps with strengthening your back, and it also helps with digestion. Next asana that I will be showing you is Janta Parvanasana. This asana is spinal twist. The next asana that I will be showing you is Janta Parvanasana. This asana is spinal twist. It twists your back, which helps with flexibility with your back, and it relieves with stomach digestion disorder. First, we'll go to lying steady pose. Next, we will do this left side first. legs to 90 degrees and slowly bring them this way. Then bring your hands to the side, to your shoulders, and turn your body the opposite side of the legs. Next, come back to 90 degrees and bring your legs down. Next, go back to 90 degrees, bring your legs to the right side, and turn this. Then come up to 90 degrees and bring your legs down. Come back up. The next asana that I'll be showing you is Purvanamuktanasana. This asana is when you're leaving pose. It helps with flexibility with your legs, and it also helps with digestion. Go to plank steady pose. Next, bring your left leg, hold it, and then bring it as far as you can, and then bring your forehead to your knee. Go down. Next, bring your right leg. Bring both of your legs. The next asana that I will be showing you is Halasana. Halasana is complex. It helps with stomach digestion and helps with your back. First, we will go to 90 degrees. Go to Sarvanasana and bring your legs back. The next pose is Matsyendrasana. This is fish pose. It helps with your back and also helps with digestion. First, go to lying steady pose. Next, bring your hands under your hips and look up to your big toe and put your hands down. Look back at your big toe and look down. Next asana that I will be showing you is Padahastasana. This asana is hands to feet. It helps with the flexibility of your back and strengthen abdominal muscles and digestion. First, bring your arms up and bring them down. Come back up. The next asana is Shavasana. This asana is corpse pose, and it helps to relax all your body parts. It helps with digestion and stomach. Go wide steady pose, use curly hands, and with your nose. Come up.
Santosham. Our next speaker, Prakash Papu Naidu from Singapore, will share his thoughts about wisdom.
Sadguruve Shanno, Santosha. My name is Prakash Papu Naidu. I am from Universal Peace Foundation, Singapore. Today, I would like to share about the topic wisdom. More often than not, we hear or notice the word wisdom. Therefore, what is wisdom? If we start to search from the web on what is wisdom, the explanation that comes out is a quality of having experience, knowledge, and good judgment. Then a question comes again: what is knowledge? What is the difference between knowledge and wisdom? The following information gathered from an article titled Absolute Thou. Socrates, the Greek philosopher, was dying. A disciple asked, "Why are you not afraid of death?" Death was certain. Within minutes he would die. The poison to kill him was being prepared. But Socrates said, "How can I be afraid of something which is unknown? I will have to see. When I die, only then can I see." Two possibilities are there. One is that I will die completely, no trace of me will be left. So there will be nobody left to know it, nobody to suffer it. So there's no question about my being worried about it. If this first alternative is going to happen, and the second possibility is that I may continue, only body will die, but the soul will remain. Then too, I don't see any point in being worried. If I am to continue, then death is irrelevant. And only these two possibilities exist. I cannot say anything right now about what will happen. I don't know. I don't know yet. Socrates was a wise man, not a man of knowledge. A man of knowledge would have given a certain answer. Men of knowledge have certain answers, absolute certainty. Wisdom is cautious. Wisdom hesitates. Wisdom never certain. That's why wisdom can never be confined to a theory. All theories are less than life. All theories are narrow, and life cannot enter into them. Life is so vast, so tremendously vast and infinite. A wise man only knows one thing, that he doesn't know. A man of knowledge knows 1,001 things and knows that he knows. The more his memory becomes filled with knowledge, the less and less he lives in his being. The more and more he moves into the head, becomes a part, a fragment, the less and less he is joined to the vast being and the universe and existence. He is like an iceberg, frozen and stuck somewhere, stuck in the head. Consciousness, when it becomes knowledge, becomes frozen. When consciousness becomes wisdom, it becomes a flow. A wise man lives totally, but knows only one thing, that he doesn't know. Intelligence and knowledge can be learned from universities, colleges, and schools. We can acquire that, but they are not teaching us about how to live our life more generally. However, wisdom in our life gained by talking and listening to wise people. Wisdom has to be imbibed through life. Wisdom grows with time. Wisdom comes through experience. Knowledge comes not through experience, but through learning. My father, in fact, says very often that he is from future because he has more experience than me and he has lived through what I am living through now. He is 28 years ahead of me. I am from the future, he said. The meaning of that is the benefit of experience. Second way to gain wisdom is reading the right books. Now, the right books are not textbooks. The right books are not the kind of how to do books. The right books are going to be probably like this. There are going to be biographies of people that we admire, because in biographies we get to see how a person's entire life developed over time, and some of the small decisions they made early impacted their life later. Usually, we see a lot of wisdom in books about people we admire because they overcame difficult situations. They lived through wrong decisions and bad experiences, and they worked their way out of that. So there is some wisdom there. We get to benefit from their experience. And then other type of books that are directly talking about wisdom. Like, I like to read the book of Proverbs. It's literally filled with wisdom on every page. So there's another direction to go in. Let's move on one step further. What is the importance of knowledge in our everyday life? A person having gained the knowledge might end in strengthening the ego, since now he feels that he knows everything. Some people may not have the feeling that they have greater knowledge, but their conscious mind might have captured it completely. By having these thoughts, it will shut down one's sense of feeling completely. Therefore, now, by having this knowledge, will it provide comfortable and peaceful life to you? You may say yes, but in fact, it is not. The feeling of peaceful and the knowledge we gained is not related at all. The acquired knowledge that utilized is to grow money and will never provide the peace of mind. The people through the living had kept searching for something even after they grow. What actually they are searching for? Actually, they are searching for peace. How peace can be received? It can only happen when you learn to do the process of unlearning, as mentioned in poem penned by Avyar Tamil Sen poetess, Arindu Arindu Viduvade Jnanam. Meaning, when you start learning and understanding of letting go the knowledge, only then the process of acquiring wisdom will begin. If this realization takes place, then the learning of knowledge will start to reduce and equally reduces the ego as well. The moment we realize and understand the knowledge is no more at use, that will be the beginning for wisdom to flourish. The reason being, knowledge is something that you are gaining daily. Wisdom is something that you are letting go daily. The moment you sit down and do nothing, that's when you will experience of letting go of knowledge and start to perceive wisdom. Then the peace prevail. To sit down and do nothing will only happen when you practice meditation. The most powerful meditation is in the form of Kundalini meditation. You will experience some improvement in well-being right away. Patient and dedicated practice can help you achieve the most benefits. So, in nutshell, the awareness on wisdom begins when we let go knowledge. Dedicated practice of meditation. Now, I'm going to share some words on wisdom extracted from the book I Got, The Secret of the Secret Power of Kundalini by Jnana Vallal Paranjodi Mahan. The five sense of organs receive certain impressions and they produce sensations. And these sensations build up knowledge. When this become clarified, it is termed the eye of wisdom. Wider knowledge is wisdom. Dreams are causes of the thought. Fears are causes of the devil. Devotion causes God. If these causes disappear, knowledge will become clear. Clear knowledge is jnana, wisdom. Next, I'll be sharing about the words extracted from the book written by Jagat Guru Mahan Maharishi Paranjodhya. Gratitude and confidence will make everything happen. Wisdom is realizing God. Life is to attain wisdom. Wisdom helps you to choose the right one among the right and joyous ones. Search wisdom to realize godliness. To search for wisdom, get experiences. Outward search is unstable. Education must be in the outer world. Inner search is stable. Wisdom must be searched inwards. A guru's duty is to make his disciples attain the same wisdom which he attained in his life. I wish that our divine souls now understand what is wisdom and also able to differentiate between knowledge and wisdom. Thank you and salute to Jnana Vallal Paranjodi Mahan, Jagat Guru Mahan Maharishi Paranjodhya, UPF North America, UPF Singapore, Guru Lachpadas for giving the opportunity to participate in this Kundalini Yoga Global Conference. This indeed an opportunity for me and also an experience of exploring the topic of wisdom. Through this research, I realized that by just depending meditation alone, we will not completely get the information. By doing research and exploration through internet search, reading books, talking to wise people, we able to learn new things, looking things from different angle, perception, etc. Santosham. Thank you.
Santosham. In the next demonstration, we have Meghna from the Kids Yoga students of UPFNA from Omaha, USA, to demonstrate an asana for weight loss.
Hi, my name is Meghna Duri, and today I'm going to be showing some yoga asanas for losing excess fat around the abdomen and the waist. First is Surya Namaskar. When you do Surya Namaskar 2 times, one time on the left leg and one time on the right leg, it counts as one cycle. I will be showing one cycle today. Exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 3, inhale 4, right leg back, retention 5, exhale 6, inhale 7, exhale 8, inhale 9, right leg up, exhale 10, inhale 11, exhale 12, and relax. Exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 3, inhale 4, left leg back, retention 5, exhale 6, inhale 7, exhale 8, inhale 9, right leg up, exhale 10, inhale 11, and exhale 12. When practicing Surya Namaskar, practice it for 3 to 6 cycles. Next is Chakra Padasana. Bring one leg up and circle it clockwise. Then do the same but counterclockwise. Repeat with the other leg. Then bring both legs up. Repeat with both legs. When practicing Chakrapadasana, practice it 3 times clockwise and 3 times counterclockwise on the left leg, the right leg, and them down to a 60-degree angle, a 45-degree angle, a 30-degree angle, a 15-degree angle, and relax. When practicing Ardha Halasana, practice each of the angles once and hold for 5 counts. Next is Kandrasana. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. When practicing Kandrasana, practice it for 2 to 3 times and hold the pose for 5 seconds each time. Next asana is Dhanurasana or bow pose. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. After Dhanurasana, do Dhanurasana's counter pose, which is Shashankasana. When practicing Dhanurasana, practice it for 2 to 3 times and hold it for 5 seconds. Next is Pakshimuttanasana. When practicing Pakshimuttanasana, practice it for 1 time and hold it for 30 seconds. The counter pose for Pakshimuttanasana is Purvattasana. Next is Navasana. Inhale up. Exhale down. Again, inhale up. Exhale down. When practicing Navasana, practice it 2 to 3 times and hold the pose for 5 seconds. Next is Trikonasana or triangle pose. Bend right. And bend left. Bend right. And bend left. When practicing Trikonasana, practice it 2 to 3 times and hold the pose for 5 counts. Last is relaxation pose or Shavasana. Practice Shavasana for 3 to 5 minutes.
Santosham. Our next speaker, Dr. Manoj Sharma from Las Vegas, US, will talk about potential efficacy of yoga.
Welcome to this session on potential efficacy of yoga in various diseases. My name is Dr. Manoj Sharma. I'm a professor at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I'm also the president of a not-for-profit group called Health for All. And I will be sharing my research on the application of yoga in various diseases that I have conducted over the years based on systematic reviews. So what is yoga? Yoga is a Sanskrit word, yog, meaning union. In the physiological paradigm, it can be conceptualized as a union of organ systems in the body or homeostasis. In the psychological paradigm, it can be visualized as union of consciousness in the mind, the union of subconscious mind with the conscious mind with the superconscious mind, if you want to conceptualize it that way, or balance. In the scientific paradigm, it can be conceptualized as a union of body and mind or psychosomatic equilibrium. In the philosophical paradigm, it is the union of body, mind, and internal energy, which can be called as soul in spiritual sciences, or spirit. In science, we call it as factor X. So that is the equanimity. In the universal paradigm, it can be conceptualized in which science and philosophy meet as oneness, or body, mind, internal energy, and the universal energy. So let us now proceed with how many people have been using yoga these days. Yoga is an ancient practice originating in India over 4,000 years back. And yoga has been demonstrated to reduce the stress and induce relaxation. According to the 2012 National Health Interview Survey, it was found that in the United States, 13.2% people had practiced yoga in their lifetime, and 8.9% had practiced in the previous 12 months. And the same survey showed that about 31 million US adults have ever used yoga, and about 21 million practiced yoga in the past 12 months. So it is gaining in popularity in the West, particularly in the United States. All schools of yoga follow the classical Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, which consists of the 8 limbs: Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharan, Dhyan, Samadhi. Yama are the moral techniques such as compassion, truthfulness, non-stealing, sensory control, avoidance of greed. And there are also corresponding 5 niyamas, which are the personal observances such as purity, contentment, discipline, self-study, and contemplation on Almighty. And the asanas are the postures for physical homeostasis and mental balance. There are several thousands of asanas, and these are the various low physical impact postures. And then pranayama are the breathing techniques for physical homeostasis and mental balance. The first 4 limbs are primarily geared toward keeping the body in shape, or they are for the physical prowess. Some schools of yoga, like Hatha Yoga, they start with asanas. Some schools start with pranayama, such as Kriya Yoga. And of course, the classical Ashtanga Yoga starts with Yam and Niyam, or the various observances. And then the 5th limb of yoga is the pratyahar, which is developing dispassion towards senses for mental balance and equanimity. And that pratyahar is the foundation of meditation, which is preceded by dharan, or concentration techniques for mental balance and equanimity. These days, if you are a good student, you already have good concentration on your work. So you are already well equipped with dharan. So Dhyan is the stage which Kundalini Yoga School starts people with, and that is the meditation techniques that are taught in this particular system. And ultimate aim of yoga is samadhi, or what we were talking about, the equilibrium with the universal consciousness, or going into the subtler wavelengths on the electroencephalograph, which are less than 1 cycle per second, or delta wavelength. So what is the purpose of our study that I'm going to share with you? The purpose of this study was to examine the efficacy of interventions using yoga as an integrative therapy for a variety of diseases, as evidenced from published systematic reviews conducted by me. Role of yoga was examined for hypertension, diabetes mellitus or type 2 diabetes, arthritis, depression, anxiety, low back pain, asthma, cancer, and breast cancer. So over the years, I've conducted several systematic reviews, and I'm sharing the findings of these systematic reviews with you in this particular presentation. So the methods were that we conducted these systematic reviews, and all of the 3 main databases like Alt Health Watch, which publishes articles in integrative medicine, Sinahil, the cumulative index for nursing and allied health, and Medline, which publishes all the medical literature, were included in the analyses. So first of all, we conducted the systematic review on yoga and hypertension between 1972 to 2012, and located 19 studies. And out of these 19 studies, 12 or 63% they demonstrated a significant reduction in high blood pressure as a result of the yoga intervention. The problem with these was that only 6 studies utilized the randomized control design, or RCT. Randomized control design is like the gold standard because it can take care of the various biases and the confounders that may be resulting in showing a spurious association. So very few studies have been done with yoga and hypertension, but the results are somewhat encouraging. And the schools of yoga used were 5 yoga interventions utilized pranayama or breathing techniques, 4 used asanas or low impact physical activity postures, transcendental meditation, which was popularized by Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the United States, was used by one combined yoga with naturopathy, and 1 intervention was based on Iyengar yoga, which uses asanas, which is a variant of Hatha yoga. 1 intervention was based on Sudarshan Kriya Yoga that uses rhythmic breathing exercises, and 3 used Shavasana, or the relaxation or the corpse pose, and 1 used Ashtang Vinyasa Asana, which is the coordination of breath with movement, and 3 used unspecified yoga techniques. So you can see a variety of different yoga schools were employed in this particular technique. And the duration of yoga intervention ranged from 6 months to one-time practice. Some people did just one-time practice, and that's how they were able to decipher the study. But the average was about 2 to 3 months long regular sustained practice of yoga, which was suggested by a majority of the studies. So in conclusion, we can say that there are paucity of studies, very few studies that have used RCTs, and yoga appears to be a promising approach, either alone or in combination with pharmacotherapy for hypertension, which needs further investigation. So when we hear that yoga is a cure-all for everything, we should not really buy that argument, and the evidence is still there, not there, and the jury is out there about yoga's efficacy. And then yoga and type 2 diabetes mellitus, I conducted a systematic review between 1993 to 2011, including 17 studies, and 9 interventions were able to show a significant decrease in the fasting blood glucose, or 53%. But once again, only 29% of 5 studies used the RCT, which once again is the gold standard for establishing causality. And of course, one study or two studies or even 5 studies are not going to establish that causality. You need studies after studies after studies. And the schools of yoga that were used were yogic asanas, pranayama, Shatkriyas. Shatkriyas are the cleansing exercises. Yog Nidra or Shavasana was used by one intervention. The duration ranged from 8 days to 24 weeks. And the majority between 30, 40, and 45 days. And the conclusion, once again, was paucity of studies, few RCTs, appears to be a promising approach, but no conclusive evidence can be said still on yoga's efficacy. And then for arthritis, as you know, is a very complex disease. There are several forms of arthritis. Osteoarthritis is the most common one, rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, and several other types of arthritis. And they were not really classified as to which ones they focused on. And there were a total of 9 interventions from 2010 to 2013. And 6 interventions or 72% demonstrated positive changes, and only 2 used the randomized control design. The sample sizes were very small with these interventions. And the average mean duration was 18.6 hours. So these were only short-term interventions. So efficacy cannot be definitely concluded. Once again, it appears to be a promising approach, either alone or in combination with pharmacotherapy for arthritis patients. These days, knee replacement is becoming more common with arthritis, and that should be also the main line of treatment if arthritis is very severe. And then yoga and depression. And in this particular area, we have a lot of interventions that have been tested. 23 interventions were published just in 5 years between 2011 and 2016. I did a prior assessment also before this on yoga and depression. And we used all sorts of study designs, randomized control designs, quasi-experimental, pre-test, post-test designs, and 20 interventions out of these 23 interventions found yoga to be effective in treating depressive symptoms. 3 studies were with stroke patients, pregnant patients, and breast cancer patients that found no significant impact. And then various yoga schools were used, with most common being Hatha Yoga or the asanas or the low physical impact postures, and the sample sizes were very small in these interventions. And the duration, once again, was 1 week to 24 weeks, and the majority being 6 weeks or longer. The problem with a long-term follow-up of yoga studies is that attrition occurs, like people drop out of the intervention. So that is why these long-term studies are lacking in the field. And limited evidence that yoga may influence depression outcomes in several populations. We have consistency of evidence because number of studies have been done. Biological plausibility explanation is there because it apparently affects the dopamine and the GABA neurotransmitters, and also serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter involved with depression. So all those 3 neurotransmitters are affected by yoga, particularly meditational approaches. And then a strength of association was also found, temporal association was found, coherence was found. So yoga, once again, can be used in conjunction with pharmacotherapy. We have very good drugs nowadays available, SSRIs, SNRIs, that are available for treating depression, but they take 6 weeks or so to act. So you can combine yoga along with that conventional pharmacotherapy to enhance the potentiation of the effect on depression. And then yoga and anxiety, once again, this area has been studied a lot. We were able to locate between 2010 and 2012, 27 interventions, and 19 or 70% of the studies analyzed showed a significant decrease in the state or trait anxiety through the use of yoga, and 67% used the RCT. So that was a really good evidence that we were getting in the area of yoga and anxiety. So anxiety, stress reduction is a very potent approach. And we can find some limited evidence that yoga is efficacious in lowering anxiety levels. Once again, we had consistency of evidence, biological plausibility, strength of association, temporal association. Temporal association means that the A comes before B to for the A to be the cause of B. And the results were also coherent. So we were able to conclude limited evidence, but we need more studies in this direction. And then yoga and low back pain, we were able to find 13 interventions, and 69% or 9% showed increased flexibility, decreased pain, decreased disability scores. So that was encouraging piece of information. And once again, about 9 studies or 69% of the interventions used the RCT. And the duration ranged from 1 week of intensive inpatient interventions to 6 month twice weekly yoga session with an instructor. And once again, the evidence shows that it is beneficial. There is limited evidence that yoga is somewhat efficacious in reducing low back pain. Low back pain is a difficult disease to treat. It requires long-term physiotherapy, and yoga can be one of the approaches in the repertoire of the physiotherapist. And the evidence was supported by consistency, biological plausibility, strength of association, temporal association, and coherence in favor of yoga being useful for low back pain. And then for yoga and asthma, we found 15 interventions between 1972 and 2012. And asthma is also a difficult disease that is triggered by various kinds of environmental pollutants and allergens. So 10 documented a significant change in one or more objective or subjective outcome, such as forced expiratory volume in 1 second, peak expiratory flow rate, PEFR, airway resistance, asthma quality of life questionnaire. And 73% used RCTs. So once again, we are finding good limited evidence in this regard of efficacy. There is paucity of studies, but we need more studies. And once again, we can establish causality if more studies with larger sample sizes are available in this area. And then yoga and cancer. Now, cancer mainly for stress management, because cancer has a lot of chemotherapy, which is associated with a lot of side effects, and cancer diagnosis itself causes a lot of stress in the mind of the person. So yoga has been used mainly for improving the mental or physical functioning of the participants. And 13 interventions, out of which 85% were reported some bit of a stress management effect, and only 6 used the RCT, or 46%. And this was once again from 1 time all the way to 2 years. And this appears to be a promising approach for reducing stress associated with cancer. Of course, not the etiopathogenesis of cancer or the causation of cancer. We cannot say that yoga cures cancer. We can only say that yoga is helpful in reducing stress associated with cancer. And we need more RCTs with large sample sizes, and also comparison with other modalities. And yoga and breast cancer, once again, from one area that has been studied more extensively, again for improving coping or stress management, and 21 studies have used the RCT. So large majority showed were RCTs, and 22 showed statistically significant changes. So there seems to be good evidence there, but once again, it is in the domain of being the promising approach because of the variation of practice, variation of duration, and all those things. So here is the summary of evidence of yoga on various diseases. Hypertension, it is a promising approach. 12 interventions out of 19 successful, small sample sizes. RCT is not used by all of them. Type 2 diabetes mellitus, once again, promising approach. Arthritis, once again, promising approach. With depression, anxiety, low back pain, and asthma, there is limited evidence. We need more studies. Cancer, it is promising approach for stress reduction, and breast cancer also promising approach. And so what are the overall conclusions? The ultimate purpose of yoga is not disease prevention or treatment, but it is a promising, efficacious adjuvant to management of hypertension, diabetes, arthritis, depression, anxiety, low back pain, asthma, cancer, and breast cancer. So the purpose of yoga, like we saw, was the union of the inner energy with the universal consciousness. That is the ultimate purpose of yoga. And disease prevention or treatment is a byproduct, or it can be used as a complementary and a system of approach in the integrative medicine realm. So we need more randomized controlled trials. We need larger sample sizes. First of all, to establish efficacy. Efficacy is in the ideal conditions, and then in the real world conditions are the effectiveness trials. So there is a long process before we can really claim that yoga is indeed making a difference with the disease prevention or treatment. So if you hear a claim where somebody says, well, yoga is a cure all, please do not buy that. The science is not there yet. And we can also use behavioral approaches like the multi-theory model of health behavior change to ensure that people who enroll in these efficacy trials and these effectiveness studies indeed practice yoga. They don't drop out, or attrition is not there. So for adherence purposes, we need the behavioral models. And here are the references. Here are the studies that have been published in scientific literature. And you can pretty much go through these. Most of them are available in Medline. And if you want any particular study, I'll be happy to share that with you. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day. By the grace and bliss of Almighty, may you all enjoy excellent health, long lives, insightful wisdom, total peace, complete contentment.
Santosham. Our next speaker, Shruti Kumar from Omaha, US, will talk about yoga and wellness in education.
Hello, today I'll be talking about yoga and wellness in the educational space. So first, I'll just introduce myself. My name is Shruti Kumar. I'm a first-year student at Harvard College, and I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I have been practicing yoga and meditation with the Universal Peace Foundation of North America for about 10 years now. And I've been practicing yoga since I was 8 years old. And so I fell in love with yoga. I really enjoyed it, especially in high school. Meditation really helped me kind of deal with the stress and anxiety that comes with high school. And so I really wanted to learn how to teach yoga. I wanted to learn more about it. I wanted to share it with my peers and with my classmates. And so in high school, I completed my yoga teachers training certification in India. And ever since then, I've been teaching yoga classes at UPFNA. I've been teaching classes at my high school and in the Omaha metro community area. I also look forward to teaching at my college. And so I'm really excited and honored to be a part of the Kundalini Yoga Global Conference. I'm really excited to connect with you all after the conference, so you can find my contact information here. And I'd love to have these conversations even further. So jumping right in, I want to talk about how yoga and mindfulness fits into the academic space and the educational experience, especially for high schoolers and college students in America. Stress is the number one factor in academic disruption, and students face stress from a multitude of different areas. And I wanted to kind of overview the problem or the issue at hand, and then go into kind of my personal experiences in how to deal with the academic stress that comes with the educational system in America. And so there are several different statistics and facts out there that will explain this. Especially with the pandemic, there's been an increased amount of stress in the work. Students really do face a lot of stress, like this cartoon here, in terms of finals, getting a job. Several students, also are employed at the same time as they're, financially supporting their families. Making friends, there's a lot of social stresses that come with high school and middle school, which all leads to anxiety and depression that teens are facing. There's test anxiety. Mental health is becoming an issue among the youth community. 17% of high school students are seriously considering suicide, and 13% ages 8 to 15 experience a mental health condition. So all these statistics are incredibly jarring. Teen depression has been on the rise. An estimated 20% will experience depression before reaching adulthood. And, this is all not to make anyone feel upset or sad, but to face the harsh reality and to recognize that the youth and teen populations are undergoing extreme amounts of stress compared to, historical populations are facing a multitude of different stressors in their lives. And it's important as parents, as peers, as friends to be there for those that are struggling with these issues. And these statistics are not only statistics. In my personal life, I have met several friends and family members who have experienced stress and anxiety, depression during high school and during middle school. I personally did experience stress and anxiety, especially with high stakes standardized exams, social pressures, peer pressure. All of those things are not unique to any one high school student nor me. Several students across the country are sharing in these experiences. I think what made my situation unique was that I had yoga and meditation background, because being trained in yoga and meditation really helped me when I was facing the same issues as my peers. I was able to deal with that stress and anxiety using pranayama, using other breathing techniques, spending time for yoga in my life, and being able to teach it to other people also reminded me of how important the benefits of yoga are in our everyday life. Academically, it has been proven to increase focus and concentration in studies. In my personal life, how I used yoga and meditation was, before I would take any large exams or standardized tests, I would practice breathing techniques like yogic breathing or different pranayama techniques that we learned in yoga class. And practicing those breathing techniques before class really helped me, and before an exam really helped me hold clarity and kind of purpose in the work that I was doing. So it helped me focus and concentrate on my academics, and be less distracted by my friends or by my phone or something like that. It really does benefit academic and in studies. The time management piece was something that I learned recently in college. I actually do practice yoga and meditation every morning before my classes, and that's been something that I've been doing more recently. I found it very difficult to do that consistently in high school, but in college, I have more flexibility with my schedule. So I learned that the morning time is really crucial for me. I like to practice yoga and meditation for about 30 minutes to an hour every morning when I wake up. Um, it really serves to, ground me in my day and help me set my goals and intentions for the upcoming day. It's easy to, just wake up and continuously run. But one thing that I found is centering myself for a few minutes before I start my day really helps me manage my time throughout the rest of the day. And so that's been beneficial in my academics because in the college setting, you have a lot of different responsibilities, extracurricular responsibilities, and being able to manage your time is incredibly important to prevent the stress and anxiety that can come from schoolwork or from other extracurricular activities. Um, so that leads me to my next point, which is daily wellness, which is something that the current education system doesn't really factor in. Our the education system that our kids are in, your kids are in, my peers, doesn't factor in time for mental health, for mindfulness, or for self-reflection. And so that's something that we must do on our own time. So one of the biggest things that has helped me throughout my high school and college experience so far has been scheduling in time for yoga and mindfulness. So just like we schedule our Zoom meetings, just like we schedule, lunch or dinner, block out a time in your Google Calendar or in your planner specifically dedicated to yoga and mindfulness. That has been something that I didn't realize to do before because we always think, okay, if I have extra time, I will do yoga meditation. But it won't work like that. You have to make it a priority in order for it to become one in your life. And so for me, this time to self reflect and kind of define my goals and my values, I do that every morning. I do that every morning after I wake up, but before I start my classes. And scheduling that time in has really changed my life. Like, truly had a huge impact on just the way I conduct myself throughout my day. I define my values and I hold those values throughout my day. I have noticed that on days that I don't practice yoga or mindfulness in the morning, my day almost feels like I'm running through it aimlessly, like I don't have a goal or a focus. And so I feel more stressed because if something unexpected happens, I deal with that in a more stressful way. If something doesn't go my way, or if I'm overwhelmed with work, I'm unable to deal with that if I'm not turning to meditation and yoga and mindfulness. Those practices have been transformative in bringing calm and clarity throughout my day. They've also helped me become mindful in other aspects of my life, in managing the work life balance that COVID has brought on. We're having trouble with the always on work culture and separating home from work, being mindful of, digital wellness, digital well-being, and technological mindfulness is incredibly important. I've noticed, when I'm around people or with family or friends, to be mindful of, who you're around. And Kundalini yoga and meditation truly has a foundation in mindfulness. The yoga practice itself, the mindfulness practice itself, like, forces you to pay attention to your breathing, to bring your attention back to your body, back to your mind. So the foundational elements of Kundalini yoga and meditation can be extrapolated to other parts of our life. And I think that's where I have found the most benefit in wellness and in well-being. So I think it's incredibly important students know how to take time to self-reflect, to spend time thinking about what's important to them, to define your values and your purpose, and then carry that throughout the day. Um, so and that's what I've been incredibly passionate about for the past several years, and I'm currently extremely passionate about talking to students about digital wellness, daily wellness, about yoga, and how we can bring it into our daily lives. So that leads me to actually talk about my nonprofit that I set up in high school to do just this. I wanted to share the benefits of yoga and meditation that I had experienced in my own life with my classmates and with my peers. And so I established my nonprofit called Go Yogi, and we work on mindfulness-based mental health education. So we provide mindfulness audio lessons and breathing techniques that students can use at the beginning of the school day, a few minutes before class starts, that provides a proactive and preventative approach to student mental health. And so a lot of populations, especially low income populations, can't afford mental health therapy or medication or other resources. And so I wanted to provide a way that was a more preventative approach to mental health, a way that was cost effective, completely free for schools to implement, that would allow students to take time to self-reflect before starting their day. And I've done this at a few schools in Omaha and in India. And so I'd love to talk to you more about it. It's been the love of my life for the past several years, and is incredibly important that mental health education is talked about more. And I think this is like one of the areas in which I've been able to find the intersection of Kundalini yoga and meditation with the educational and academic space. I think this is exactly where it lies. And that intersection, exploring that connection between yoga and academics, is going to be transformative for students moving forward in managing their stress, but and also defining their academic and professional goals. So yeah, I'd love to talk to you more about this. You can visit the website for more information. But I wanted to say thank you so much for the opportunity to share my experiences with you. If you have any questions, I would be more than happy to address them via email, which I've provided on this side, and my Instagram. Please feel free to reach out if you'd like to continue this conversation or continue this discussion. I love talking about mental health and wellness because it's truly an issue that is facing millions of students across America and across the world, frankly, that's been exacerbated by the pandemic. And so, as always, please reach out for more information on resources. And thank you. Take care.
Santosham. Our next speaker, Anne Mathy from UK, will talk about the Kundalini phenomena.
Hello and welcome to Kundalini Yoga Global Conference 2021 with Universal Peace Foundation of North America in association with Vedantic Center of NE and UPF India. This talk is titled Kundalini, the Lived Experience. My name's Anne Mathy. So here we're going to discuss the actual phenomena that is Kundalini. I'm basing this on real lived experiences from interviews and case studies of people who have gone through this experience spontaneously. I want to talk about this as a phenomena that is a human experience, and I also want to describe this in a way that shows us, based on the insights of meditation masters, where we can take this, what we can do with this energy, the potential of this experience and where it can take us. First, I want to briefly talk about Kundalini in other cultures. So, although in the Indian continent, this phenomena really was explored and mastered to a very refined level, I want to also describe how this phenomena exists in other cultures. It is a human thing, it is our birthright. So here we have just an example of the Kung people, otherwise known as the San people of the Kalahari Desert. This Kundalini is an experience that is described, well, it's not called Kundalini, it's called Nam. And it lifts in your belly and it lifts you up in your back. This is described by the San people. It makes you shiver. You go into a trance and you tremble. It's very hot. Your eyes are open, but you're not looking around. This is described from one of the tribes people. You hold your eyes still and you stare straight ahead, but when you get into it, you see everything, because what you see people, what's troubling everyone. Numb enters into every part of your body, right to the tips of your feet and even your hair. Another person describes this as, in your backbone you feel a pointed something and it works its way up. Then the base of your spine is tingling, 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 and then it makes your thoughts nothing in your head. So these are descriptions from the Kalahari tribesmen describing this phenomena, and they use it for healing. In this culture, this energy is only raised temporarily in trance around a fire with music, and healing happens, and then the energy goes back down, and then normal life is lived with families. It is said that it's most common in those who have a vivid imagination. Interestingly, 50% of the people within the tribes have this experience. We also see it in pre-Islamic Egypt, otherwise known as Kemet. So they had a similar energy and spiritual practice to India's yoga. In Kemet, this energy was known as Alat Sekem. So this was like postures, breathing, sound and meditation, or mantra, type of mantra, but mainly focused around breathing. So this is a very ancient idea. Eliade describes the central axis as a very common notion throughout many, many cultures, or the idea that life sprang from this central column, the center of consciousness. So we want to talk about Kundalini, the physical and psychological expressions of it, and some of the more challenging aspects of Kundalini awakenings, as well as misconceptions. And what is the difference between transcendence and psychosis? So here are some images that can describe the arousal of Kundalini. Here we have a woman on the left. She is in a trance and she is spontaneously making mudras. At the same time, she's uttering mantras, and these mudras are being as if placing something on her body. And this is all happening spontaneously, like her body is being used as a puppet as this energy moves through it. People often describe a lightness in the heart, which physically lifts the whole body up, as in devotion, complete devotion. And this devotion can just absolutely destroy the person in the most beautiful way. Love, complete intoxication with love, as well as complete surrender. Sometimes the Kundalini can make or force the body into yogic postures. There's many reports of people waking up in the night in a yoga position. So these are people who've never tried yoga before or even not heard of it. Sometimes the energy can make you pull your stomach in, as if doing a Uddiyana Bandha or a Jalandhara Bandha or Mula Bandha. So forcing the muscles, contracting in different ways. Also, the eyeballs spontaneously rolling around the head, or the tongue coming out and moving back. So all of these things, the facial muscles can start to distort. So these are happening spontaneously. These are happening without force. These are happening without any kind of will of the own. It's as if another will is taking over. The image in the right is Mula Bandha, so contraction of the lower parts of the body, which in yogic practices is said to move Kundalini into the central column. We also have spontaneous expressions of a kind of martial form, Tai Chi type movements, or Falun Gong practices, so just happening spontaneously again. At different forces as well. This can be subtle and sometimes it can be extreme and violent almost. Other experiences can be a sound or a vibration in the mind, and this can be a chirping, a whirring, a whizzing, sometimes like the jet engine of a fighter plane coming from inside the head. Sometimes the sound can appear like alien or magical, like a veena or a stringed instrument, finely tuned. What can happen on a psychological level is as if the personality is falling apart. It's as if you don't know who you are anymore. This can be scary. Sometimes you may be looking in a mirror and not recognize yourself. You may not see yourself anymore. It's a defragmentation of the whole being, a dislodging of everything you thought was real becomes false and falls away. Dreams can become very vivid. People describe hallucinations or visions or actually being transported to another place, another dimension. Seeing through flesh, seeing the bone structure, seeing nadis or their subtle body, seeing thought forms, astral projecting, the visions of something greater, of something larger, being connected with nature. All of these experiences happen. Also, at the same time, very deep psychological knots in your psyche can emerge to the surface. It can be extremely emotional and traumatic. Strong devotion can also happen. This can happen over years. It can just be a slight experience or a subtle experience. Just because spontaneous occurrences happen doesn't mean that person can't be enlightened. Or just because the person has spontaneous Kundalini doesn't mean they are enlightened. There's different degrees of insight and experiences that can happen. Most experiences are partial awakenings. Now, the classic experience described in the text and described in many people I interviewed was a spiraling of energy around Manipura, around the belly button, like a strong wave of energy pulsing through the body, starting from Manipura. And then energy moving into the central column. And some people actually describe that each vertebrae being separated as the body spontaneously lifts up and energy shoots through the spine at the top of the head. This can happen slowly, or it can happen like a big fire. Some people describe it branching out into light. So the mind experiences this from all dimensions, watching the light move up, the body disappears, but there is an awareness of the body, so it branches out from the neck, and beams of light come out into 7 different rays. These are classic experiences, dissolving into bliss, melting out through the body. Now, you might have a very extreme experience. However, that doesn't mean that suffering is ended. Like we discussed in the previous talk, Prakriti still keeps unfolding herself. It takes practice, it takes walking the path of Dharma to really unfold her full potential. Now, along this journey, there are many pitfalls. One can feel extremely ungrounded during this process, and it can present what appears to look like a kind of psychosis. The ego can also get caught up in this experience. So we can have spiritual experiences and delusions of grandeur set in, thinking, oh, I'm the chosen one. So this can cause a bit of upset to the people around you. And of course, once we think that we are special, then that automatically assumes that others are not. And then we are walking into very dangerous territory. Of course, humans are all equal. So this is a force, it runs through you. It's not you. It is not personal. It will awaken the skeletons in the closet as it moves through your body. So it's important not to call Kundalini our own. These are just forces of the universe that just happen to be shaking you. Now, as we described in the previous talk, Laya Yoga. So liberation is the reverse process of manifestation. We talked about the tattvas and everything merging back into itself. So this is essentially what is happening. The lower parts of our being are being burned up. Some skaras are being burned up. We need to, in order to allow a more full potential to arise, we need to let go of conditioned concepts and reality. When we let go, when we allow them to fall away, more space, more attitudes or bhavana of devotion, compassion can take their place. Their mind falls into right view, seeing everything as connected and impermanent. So, in many practices and many traditions, we are psychologically prepared for this event. So, living a moral life, getting rid of tamasic behavior, tamasic food, understanding the self, knowing what your problems are, knowing what your psychological hindrances are, being very, very aware of these processes. So, when Kundalini is happening, it's like, oh, I knew that, I could see that happening. And within different traditions, they have different practices, meditation techniques to allow the mind to calm, to nourish, or prepare the ego in a healthy and a positive way. For example, in Buddhism, we prepare the body or prepare the mind with metta bhavana, loving kindness. We all have damaged egos. We all have experienced pain, loss, hardship. And to walk this path, we need a healthy ego. The Kundalini process does this. However, we can also help by preparing the ego, reminding ourselves through metta bhavana that all is well, asking for loving kindness, giving loving kindness for others, training the mind to think in a certain way so that we can walk the path. With the healthy ego, it's easier to let go of the ego. There's less tamasic selfishness holding on there. So Kundalini might happen spontaneously. In all the case studies I spoke to, doesn't necessarily lead to enlightenment. Many of these people might have had a very big experience which lasted for 5 years, yet they never walked the path of Dharma. They never trained or practiced or meditated or lived a clear moral life, and therefore its full potential was never really realized. Of course, some people, the very few people, have the full experience disillusion, see the nature of reality, and are permanently changed, psychologically changed forever, because the experience really did transform them, really did remove ignorance permanently. However, for most of us, this is not the case, and we need to work. So this is just an example of the different practices, Patanjali Yoga sutras that describe samadhi. Talking about working through from the most gross layers of our being, getting rid of the knots in the physical being, because this is where our thoughts finally come to rest, is in the physical being. Therefore, we do practice gentle yoga to undo these knots, then pranayama to remove the thoughts from the pranic system, balance out the body, and then pratyahara, drawing the senses inward into samadhi practices. And once we master samadhi, once we get samyama, once we get pratyahara, and once we are able to focus on one object of concentration, then we can develop siddhi. So the Patanjali Yoga Sutras describe these siddhi in detail and what you can have insight into when you place your attention on different objects. Once you master stilling the mind, this is a running theme across most traditions in India, is the ability to concentrate, to still the mind. Most important. As we described in the previous talk, when you still the mind, the prana enters the central channel and Kundalini rises, and we experience a kind of melting into everything else. The Buddhist jhana path also describe a very similar path, the Eightfold Noble Path. Moral life is lived, right speech, right action, right livelihood, so on and so forth. And the jhana path, so jhana, the root word is jayati, to burn up. The jhanas, the 8 jhanas, are samadhi practices of stilling the mind. But the Buddha took this further. At the 4th jhana, he was able to experience insight. So insight is the liberating factor. To be able to see the nature of reality dissolves our illusion, dissolves our ignorance. And from that point, by dissolving the ignorance, we're able to see past lives, future lives, cultivate siddhi. Okay, so these 4 jhanas are very much about samadhi and concentration, stilling the mind. Then insight happens, awareness, awakening happens. So these are potentials of the human being. These are things we can do once we learn to toe the line, once we learn to live a moral life, once we learn to remove the tamasic tendencies of the mind. And this takes heroic will. The Patanjali Yoga Sutras talk about devotion as being an extraordinary force or power which can propel one, which is the most powerful, devotion to source. And of course, it is a very strong motivating factor. And of course, the Tantric Buddhist Tummo, Vajra Tantra talk about the same things. What I want to talk about now, this phenomena in the West, we don't have a culture which embraced this. We don't have a culture which allowed space for this phenomena to happen. Anything like this was considered bad or evil. And it caused people to repress this part of our psyche. However, now we're seeing a lot of these experiences arise in the West. Clinical psychiatry would describe these experiences in the body. So, for instance, the jhanic experiences in the body can present as shaking, convulsing, ecstasy, complete mania. The body is saturated with bliss. This is what happens in samadhi. In the West, this is considered mania, a kind of disorder. But what we do see emerging is more and more psychiatry, which has a kind of transpersonal philosophy in the West is starting to catch up with the East in terms of the idea that we're more than just separate identities and egos. We're actually part of a greater system. So we are learning to see the human mind and the phenomena of it as moving beyond just ourselves, situated in social systems, but something connected to a larger universe. So the transpersonal psychiatry is starting to develop extensions of our normal range of human experiences, no longer seen as mania, limited by our old psychiatric models, but they're starting to see this as like a process of integrating ourselves into a wider experience. Over here is just kind of Western psychiatrists and scientists exploring this phenomena from a Western perspective. Of course, in the East, this has been mastered and developed. Of what we have to be careful of is abuse of power from gurus and the institutionalization of religion. This is when things begin to calcify. Ignorance sets in, tamas sets in. This is a living experience. This is awake. This is alive. This transcends concepts. This transcends religion. These ideas and concepts are only there to support and hold people moving through, are only there to guide society. So this is why we need to keep evolving these ideas. Now, some of the difficult aspects can present as psychosis. What we have to be careful of, sometimes people might think they're having Kundalini experience, but in fact it's a physical illness as well. So for instance, hypothyroidism is a glandular system, a glandular problem with the thyroid. So this can be mistaken with Kundalini sometimes. Hyperactivity, loads of energy, eyeballs bulging, not sleeping, tremendous energy. This is the glandular system overworking. This is a problem. This needs medical help. We must always, when we experience physical things going on, go and seek medical help. Check it out first. It might not be Kundalini. These things can arise as an imbalance of the system due to the trauma that can be caused or risen to the surface through Kundalini, but it's important to seek help. So nervousness, anxiety, irritability. Of course, be discerning where you seek help as well. I've spoken to many people who have had Kundalini experiences along with difficult physical experiences, and they've been told that they were crazy. So, and that's very upsetting, and that can cause such sorrow or heartache or confusion in the process as well. So it is important to seek the right kind of help. However, things like tingling down the arms, which can which in Kundalini is can be experienced like an energetic experience, like a electricity, but can also be subtle tingling as well. I mean, this could be a nervous system problem. So it is important to check these out. Irregular, unusual heart rate as well, palpitations, severe headaches. I mean, Kundalini can cause severe headaches, but again, this can be caused by a physical illness. So again, it's important to get these checked out. Now, the negativity, the psychosis that can happen, can sometimes happen as a result of the social projections put upon people. So if a person is left to their own devices going through Kundalini experience, it abates. It eventually stops once the mind has realized what it's supposed to realize, the nature of reality. But to be told you're mad whilst you're going through this experience is really upsetting and can cause problems in the process as well, repression of the process, or it's a very difficult time for some people. Sometimes it can last a very long time. The thing with Kundalini, it is not a physical problem with the brain. And what happens with some psychosis is there is a physical problem with the brain. There is a something has gone wrong with the wiring. This is not the case with Kundalini, although the behaviors might present that way at first because of the deconstruction of the ego that is happening. Remember, this is Laya Yoga happening. The samskaras are being burnt up. So the foundations to our ego are being dissolved. It can be very real as well. So these experiences aren't pathology. The brain changes can be described as an alchemical process, which we described in the previous talk, which does allow access to the more psychic elements of our mind, and they do control the glandular system to some extent, giving us more vitality and health eventually. But we must remember that it is different from psychosis. Schizophrenia is classified as a neurodegenerative disease. Kundalini is not, it's temporary, it passes. So, how can we help people going through this? So, in the West, at least, what we can do is body work. We can iron out those knots of years and years of behavior patterns which have caused certain physical tendencies and behaviors, which then affect the mind and then our attitudes. Gentle yoga, personally, and from what I understand, the hatha yoga, the strong techniques might not be a good idea if you're going through spontaneous Kundalini, but gentle, relaxing poses to undo the knots in the body might be better. Simplify the life. Get rid of the things that are chaotic, confusing in your life, maybe toxic people, toxic food, toxic clothes. What you watch is constantly being impressioned onto your mind. Get rid of all of that. Simplify. Integral psychotherapy. Going through your therapeutically working through problems in your life, understanding yourself, where do these hang-ups happen, allowing yourself to overcome these past traumas, and choosing supportive and kind understanding from a community, friendship. What I love about the early Buddhist Sangha is that it's friendship. Find Dharma friends who understand this spiritual experience and want to walk with you as your friend. Not someone who's superior or has concepts of superiority, but someone who is your friend, a kind person. And of course, when we start to walk this path, then what has been studied and developed in India as the spiritual paths are very good ways to seeing through Kundalini to its full experience. So The basis of all of this is yama, yama niyama. Patanjali Yoga Sutras, the first limb, the behavior, your attitude, your morality. There is a phenomena that happens when Kundalini is awake in the system, then karma is instant. You say something bad, do something bad, there's instant karma to retribute you. So there's a quick realization that happens, oh, okay, I must walk a pure path. Karma yoga as well, maybe people going through a Kundalini experience here as if being instructed what to do, your duty. You have a duty. It won't go away until you do it. And this gets very confusing. This is, of course, this is Arjuna on the battlefield with Krishna in despair because he doesn't want to go into battle, fight his family. But Krishna is telling him this is your dharma. Dharma is beyond your personal desires. This is what you must do. So there are debates about morality in this section. However, I would always err towards right action, right speech, right livelihood, so on and so forth. And of course, study the scriptures, study this path, study all of them until you find something that sits with you and you can walk and you can live and you can learn to cultivate Kundalini devotion to the goddess, devotion. When you devote yourself to the Kundalini, to this phenomena, to divine creation in life, extraordinary things happen to you. She shows you stuff about the universe. She shakes you to your very core so that you can be in her arms and she holds you. This devotion, this pure love, will allow disillusion to happen easily, allow you to let go, allow you to experience creation, to see her unfolding and come back together again. Of course, we do this safely, carefully, in a safe space, safe people. And being mindful and discerning where our vulnerabilities are and who we allow our vulnerabilities out with. Metta Bhavana is always an excellent foundation if we're going through a very difficult time. Metta Bhavana, loving kindness meditation. Preparing a healthy ego so that it can dissolve eventually on the path as we learn techniques of samadhi. So here is where we can potentially move. A fully awakened Kundalini is when, for the Buddhist, someone is able to go through the jhanas, the 8 jhanas, and see insight so deep, see dependent origination so deep that the hindrances never arise ever again. The hindrances such as hate, aversion, craving, sloth, fear, they never arise in the human psyche ever again. All that is left is peace, love, endless compassion. This is in the Buddhist path. The Mahayana is all about compassion, great compassion for human suffering, showing people the path of Dharma because you care about people suffering so much. You want to help people out of it to become liberated, to see the nature of reality so they no longer have to suffer. The tantric, to a tantric, is to live all expressions of the divine tattvas, divine experiences of life, but with a non-dual state of awareness, without attachment to them. To live each experience like a tantric is to be completely immersed in all experiences without them causing the tamasic layer of samskaras on the being. This is a fully liberated tantric. An awakened Kundalini might be manifest as a life of service for the betterment of humanity and for the planet. We are evolving. There is a desire to awaken to a higher ideal, and in order to do so, we need a society which supports everyone. We need a society where everyone has their basic needs met so that everyone can walk a spiritual path. We can't do this when we're at war or needing food to survive. So a life of service is the betterment of society. Of course, we have the yogic samadhi of the Patanjali Yoga Sutras and the siddhi that can be created when samyama, when we have pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, focusing the attention and samadhi on particular objects. We develop siddhi, superpowers, and these are the higher faculties of the mind. This is another potential. And of course, the Vedic devotion, service to society, much like life of betterment, service to your family, service to your children, your husband, to your wife, to your job, to your reason for getting up in the morning, which is to make the world a better place. So these are the psychological outcomes after Kundalini has settled. And ideally, once we have purged all of our psychosis, all of our trauma, all of our skeletons in our closet, then we can start to walk this path. Now, of course, people are already walking this path without having had the Kundalini experiences, and people are very far along in this path without having had Kundalini experiences. So having a Kundalini experience doesn't make us spiritually superior. It's interesting. It gives us a little insight into the nature of reality, but we must be humble. We must always be humble. We must see these are forces of the universe moving through us. This is not us. This is impersonal. Thank you for listening, and I hope this is helpful for people who may be going through this and maybe struggling a bit, and I hope this is maybe inspiring for some people to walk a path for the betterment of others. Thank you.
Santosham. In the next event, we have Megnana Asiriyar Jayaprakash Palaniswamy from Lindenberg to talk about Kundalini Yoga for Fulfilled Life. This talk will be in Tamil on the topic Niraivana Valvirku Kundalini Yogam.
சத்குருவே சரணம். சந்தோஷம் சந்தோஷம் சந்தோஷம். அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். இன்று நாம் காண்கின்ற தலைப்பு நிறைவான மகிழ்வான வாழ்வுக்கு குண்டலினி யோகம். எது நிறைவான வாழ்வு, எது மகிழ்வான வாழ்வு, அதை எவ்வாறு குண்டலினி யோகத்தின் மூலம் நாம் அடைதல் என்பதை பார்ப்போம். நிறைவான வாழ்வு என்பது என்ன? மனித இனமாகிய நாம் ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் அறிவு நிலைகளில், பொருளாதார நிலைகளில், ஆன்மீக நிலைகளில், உலக வசதிகளில் முன்னேறி கொண்டே இருக்கின்றோம். இருந்தாலும் ஒவ்வொரு க்ஷணமும் நாம் எதையோ தேடிக்கொண்டே இருக்கின்றோம். நாம் தேடுகின்ற அந்த நிறைவு, சந்தோஷம், மகிழ்ச்சி, அது எதன் மூலம் நமக்கு கிடைக்கும்? அதை எவ்வாறு குண்டலினி யோகத்தின் மூலம் அடைவது என்பதை நாம் பார்ப்போம். ஒரு சாதாரண மனிதனும் இல்லறத்தில் இருந்து கொண்டே தனது கடமைகளை சிறப்பாக செய்து கொண்டு குண்டலினி யோகம் பயில்வதால் என்னென்ன பலன்களை அடையலாம் என பார்க்கலாம். முதலில் நமக்கு அவசியமானது உடல் நலம். இந்த உலக வாழ்க்கைக்கு தேவையானதானாலும் ஆன்மீக வாழ்க்கைக்கு ஆனாலும் எத்தொழில் செய்தாலும் உடல் நலம் என்பது மிக மிக அத்தியாவசியம். இந்த உடல் நமக்கு கொடுக்கப்பட்டிருக்கின்ற வாகனம். பல கோடி வருடங்களாக பரிணாமத்திலே வந்த நமக்கு இந்த உடலானது ஒரு மிக சிறந்த கருவி. உதாரணத்திற்கு நாம் ஒரு விலை உயர்ந்த கைபேசியை வைத்திருக்கின்றோம். கைபேசி எவ்வளவு விலை உயர்ந்ததாக இருந்தாலும், எவ்வளவு செயல் அமைப்புகள் கொண்டதாக இருந்தாலும், அதனுடைய மின்கலம், அதாவது பேட்டரி சரியில்லை என்றால் அதனால் எந்த ஒரு பலனும் இல்லை. ஒரு மிக உயர்ந்த வாகனத்தை வைத்திருக்கிறோம், ஆனால் எரிபொருள் இல்லை என்றால் அதனால் எந்த ஒரு பலனும் இல்லை. அதுபோலவே இந்த மிகச்சிறந்த உடலுக்கு சக்தி அளிப்பது, அறிவை கொடுப்பது, இயக்க அறிவை கொடுப்பது குண்டலினி சக்தி. குண்டலினி யோகத்தின் மூலமாக அந்த சக்தியை முறைப்படுத்தி கொள்ளும் பொழுது உடல் அதனுடைய இயல்பான, இயற்கையான, ஆரோக்கியமான முறையில் இருக்கும். இந்த குறியீடு, இந்த இடதுபுறம் இருக்கின்ற குறியீடை பார்த்தீர்களானால், இது இன்று உலகம் முழுவதும் மருத்துவர்களால், எல்லா நாடுகளாலும் ஏற்றுக்கொள்ளப்பட்ட ஒரு குறியீடு. இது வலதுபுறத்தில் இருக்கின்ற இந்த குறியீட்டை கவனித்தீர்கள் என்றால், இது குண்டலினி யோகத்தை குறியீடாக காட்டுகின்ற ஒரு விஷயம். இந்த இரண்டுக்கும் ஒற்றுமைகளை நாம் பார்த்தாலே புரிந்து கொள்ள முடிகிறது. நம் முன்னோர்கள் பல ஆயிரம் வருடங்களுக்கு முன்னதாகவே இந்த குண்டலினி சக்தி சிறப்பாக செயல்பட்டால் மட்டுமே உடல் ஆரோக்கியமாக இருக்க முடியும் என்பதை உணர்ந்ததால் தான் இந்த குறியீட்டை மருத்துவத்துறைக்கு தேர்ந்தெடுத்திருக்கிறார்கள். அதே போல நமது உடலின் அமைப்பை பார்த்தால் பருவுடல், நுண்ணுடல், அறிவுடல் என பிரித்து பார்க்கலாம். பருவுடல் கண்ணுக்கு தெரிவது, நுண்ணுடல், அறிவுடல் கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாத நுண்ணுடல்கள். உடலினுடைய ஓட்டங்கள், இயக்க ஓட்டங்களை பார்த்தால் காற்றோட்டம், வெப்ப ஓட்டம், இரத்த ஓட்டம், உயிர் சக்தியினுடைய ஓட்டம், அதனால் ஏற்படுகின்ற ஜீவ மின்காந்த அலைகளின் ஓட்டமாக பார்க்கலாம். உடலினுடைய அமைப்பில் பல ஆயிரம் உயிர் துகள்கள் சேர்ந்து, விண் துகள்கள் சேர்ந்து செல்களாகவும், செல்கள் பல இணைந்து திசுக்களாகவும், திசுக்கள் பல இணைந்து உறுப்புகளாகவும் நமது உடல் அமைப்பு ஏற்பட்டிருக்கின்றது. உடலினுடைய இரத்த, காற்று, வெப்ப, உயிர் சக்தி ஓட்டங்கள் சீர்குலைவதால் உடலினுடைய வாதம், பித்தம், கபம் கூடலாம் அல்லது குறையலாம். அவ்வாறு ஏற்படுவதால் உடலிலே 4448 வியாதிகள் உருவாகலாம் என சித்த மருத்துவம், ஆயுர்வேதம் கூறுகிறது. குண்டலினி யோகத்தை, தியானத்தை முறையாக பயிலும் பொழுது உடலிலே உயிர் சக்தியின் அளவு, வீரியம் அதிகமாகிறது. அதனால் ஜீவ மின்காந்த அலைகள், பயோ மேக்னெட்டிக் ஃபோர்ஸ், அதனுடைய அளவும் அதிகமாகிறது. இந்த ஜீவ மின்காந்த அலைகள் உடலில் இருக்கின்ற ஒவ்வொரு செல்களையும் இணைத்து அந்த செல்களுக்கு தேவையான ஆற்றல், அந்த செல்களுக்கு தேவையான அறிவு, ஆதலால் அந்த செல்கள் முறையாக வேதிப்பொருட்கள் மற்றும் மின்சாரங்களை உருவாக்குவதற்கு துணையாக இருக்கிறது. இந்த ஜீவ மின்காந்த சக்தி அளவு உடலிலே குறையும் பொழுது செல்களினுடைய செயல்தன்மை குறைந்து அது நோயாக ஏதோ ஒரு உறுப்பில் அல்லது பல உறுப்புகளில் வெளிப்படுகிறது. குண்டலினி சக்தியின் மூலம் இந்த ஜீவ மின்காந்த அலைகள் அதிகமாகும் பொழுது தானாகவே உடல் முழுவதும் அந்த சக்தி பரவி உடல் உறுப்புகளை ஆரோக்கியமாக இருக்க வைக்கிறது. உடலிலே வியாதி ஏற்படுவதற்கு முன்னரே உடலை பற்றிய அந்த புரிதல், உணர்தல் ஏற்படும் பொழுது வருமுன் காத்தல் என்பது போல வியாதிகள் உருவாவதற்கு முன்னரே நம்மால் தடுக்க இயலுகிறது. அதே போல குண்டலினி தியானம் பயிலும் பொழுது உடல் இயற்கையாகவே தளர்வு நிலை, அமைதி நிலையில் இருக்கிறது. அவ்வாறு இருப்பதால் உடலிலே தேவையற்ற சக்தி விரயம் தவிர்க்கப்படுகிறது. உடல் எப்பொழுதெல்லாம் இறுக்கமாக இருக்கிறதோ அப்பொழுதெல்லாம் அந்த பகுதிகளின் வழியாக நம்முடைய உயிர் சக்தி வெளியேறி கொண்டு இருக்கிறது என அர்த்தம். அதே போல உடலினுடைய இறுக்கங்கள் இயற்கையாக மறைவதால் நல்ல உறக்கம், இயற்கையான உறக்கம் உடலுக்கு கிடைக்கிறது. குண்டலினி யோக பயிற்சியினால் உடலினுடைய முதல் 5 ஆற்றல் மையங்கள், பஞ்சபூத மையங்கள் சீரமைகின்றன, சீராக்கப்படுகின்றன. அவ்வாறு சீராக்கப்படுவதால் உடலினுடைய வாதம், பித்தம், கபம் சீராகிறது. இதனால் இந்த 4448 வியாதிகளிலிருந்து நம் உடலை தற்காத்து கொள்ள முடிகிறது. அதே போல உடலினுடைய செல் கூறுகளை ஆரோக்கியமான முறையில் நாம் மாற்றிக்கொண்டே இருப்பதால் எதிர்காலத்திலே பரம்பரையாக வருகின்ற வியாதிகளை நம்மால் மிக சுலபமாக தடுக்க முடியும். நாம் இன்று செய்கின்ற இந்த குண்டலினி தவம் தியானத்தால் எதிர்கால சந்ததிக்கு ஆரோக்கியமான உடலை பரிசாக கொடுக்க முடியும். குண்டலினி தியானத்தினால் மன வளம் அதிகரிக்கப்படுகிறது. மன வளமே ஒருவருடைய உண்மையான செல்வம். நம்முடைய மூளை பல்வேறு பகுதிகளை கொண்டிருக்கிறது. அதனுடைய செயல்பாடுகளும், உதாரணத்திற்கு விழிப்பு நிலையில் இடது பக்க மூளை வலது பக்க மூளையை பயன்படுத்துகிறோம். கனவு நிலையில் பின்பக்க மூளையை பயன்படுத்துகிறோம். குண்டலினி தியானம் பயிலும் பொழுது மூளையினுடைய அனைத்து பகுதிகளின் செயல்பாடுகளும் அதிகரிக்கிறது. தேவையான சமயத்தில் இடது பக்க மூளையையும் வலது பக்க மூளையையும் பின்பக்க மூளையையும் நம்மால் பயன்படுத்த இயலும். அதே போன்று நெற்றிக்கண் தியானம் பயிலும் பொழுது செய்யும் பொழுது முன்பக்க மூளையும் ஃப்ரண்டல் லோப், உச்சிக்கண் தியானம் செய்யும் பொழுது நடுமூளையும் மிட் பிரைன் அவற்றினுடைய செயல்பாடுகள் நன்றாக அதிகரிக்கிறது. முன்பக்க மூளையின் செயல்பாடுகள் கூடும் பொழுது உணர்ச்சிகள் கட்டுப்பாட்டுக்குள் இருக்கும், புலனடக்கம் அமையும், விழிப்புணர்வு ப்ரெசன்ட் மொமெண்ட் அவேர்னஸ் அதிகமாகும். அதே போல சகிப்புத்தன்மை, எதையும் ஏற்றுக்கொள்கின்ற திறன் அக்செப்டன்ஸ் இவைகள் அதிகமாகும். மனம் ஒருமுகப்படும், மூச்சு சீராக இயங்கும். மூச்சு தானாகவே அந்த நெற்றிக்கண்ணில் ஒடுங்கும் பொழுது மனம் அமைதி நிலைக்கு ஏற்பட்டு வாசி யோகம் தானாகவே சித்திக்கும். நேர்மறை சிந்தனைகள் நமக்கு தானாகவே உருவாகும். பகுத்தறியும் திறன் அதிகமாகும். சிற்றின்ப சுகம், புலன் இன்பத்திலே நம்முடைய கட்டுப்பாடு சிறப்பாக இயல்பாக இருக்கும். அதே போல நடுமூளையை நாம் தியானத்தின் மூலம் நன்றாக இயக்கும் பொழுது மனம் சுயநல எண்ணங்களிலிருந்து விடுபட்டு நன்கு விரிந்த நிலையில் பொதுநல எண்ணங்கள் ஏற்படும். இயல்பான அன்பு, எல்லா உயிர்களையும் நேசிக்கின்ற அன்பு பெருகும். நாளடைவில் பேரின்ப அனுபவமும் சித்திக்கும். மூளையினுடைய இயக்க அலைகள், மென்டல் ஃப்ரீக்வன்சி, இதனை EEG என்ற கருவியின் மூலம் அளக்கும் பொழுது வெவ்வேறு நிலைகளை அது காட்டும். உதாரணத்திற்கு விழிப்பு நிலையில் காமா அல்லது பீட்டா நிலைகளில் இருக்கும். உறக்கத்திற்கு செல்லும் பொழுது உறங்குவதற்கு சற்று முன், கனவிற்கு சற்று முன் மூளையானது ஆல்ஃபா அலை நிலையில் இருக்கும். அப்பொழுது கவனித்தோம் என்றால் உறங்கவும் இல்லை, கனவும் இல்லை, விழிப்பும் இல்லை, அந்த நடுப்பட்ட நிலையில் இருப்போம். அப்பொழுது இயற்கையாகவே உடலும் மனமும் அமைதியாக, லேசாக, தளர்வாக இருக்கும். பல்வேறு ஆராய்ச்சி கட்டுரைகள் இந்த ஆல்ஃபா நிலையில் நாம் எந்த எண்ணத்தை பதிக்கிறோமோ அந்த எண்ணம் மிக விரைவில் நடைபெறும். அதாவது நம்முடைய ஆழ்மனம், சப்கான்ஷியஸ் மைண்ட் நமக்காக சர்வசதா காலமும் அது செயல்பட்டு அந்த எண்ணத்தை ஈடேற்றும் என்பது ஆராய்ச்சியினுடைய முடிவு. குண்டலினி தியானம் பயிற்சி செய்யும் பொழுது, குறிப்பாக நெற்றிக்கண் தியானம் செய்யும் பொழுது தானாகவே நமது மூளையின் அலைகள் ஆல்ஃபா நிலைக்கு செல்கிறது. ஆதலால் நெற்றிக்கண் தியானத்தின் போது நாம் வைக்கப்படுகின்ற எந்த ஒரு எண்ணங்களும் மிக விரைவிலேயே ஈடேறும். அதே போல நெற்றிக்கண்ணிலே நினைத்து நாம் ஒருவரை வாழ்த்தும் பொழுது அவைகள் மிக விரைவிலேயே அவர்களை சென்று அடையும். அதே போல தீட்டா, டெல்டா மூளை அலைகள், கனவிலும் ஆழ்ந்த உறக்கத்திலும் ஏற்படுகின்ற இந்த அலைகள் நம்முடைய உச்சிக்கண் தியானத்தின் போது இயல்பாகவே நமக்கு கிடைக்கிறது. மூளையானது உச்சிக்கண் தியானத்தின் பொழுது இந்த ஆழ்ந்த அமைதி நிலைக்கு செல்லும் பொழுது நாம் உடலை கடந்து, மனதை கடந்து, அறிவை கடந்து ஆன்ம நிலையில், உண்மை நிலையில் நம்மால் இருக்க இயலுகிறது. பேரின்ப நிலைக்கு நம்மை எடுத்துச் செல்லுகின்றது. குண்டலினி தியானத்தினால் நட்சத்திர கிரக பாதிப்புகளிலிருந்து நம்மை பாதுகாத்து கொள்ளலாம். எவ்வாறு பூமியினுடைய தட்பவெப்பம், சூரியனுடைய கதிர்வீச்சுக்கள் நம்மை பாதிக்கிறதோ அதே போல கிரகங்கள், நட்சத்திரங்களின் அலை வீச்சுக்கள் நம் மீது பட்டு நம் ஜீவ காந்த அலைகளிலே ஒரு மாற்றத்தை ஏற்படுத்தி ஒரு சில பாதிப்புகளை உண்டாக்கலாம். நாம் நெற்றிக்கண் தியானம் பயிலும் பொழுது எப்பொழுதுமே விழிப்புணர்வோடு ப்ரெசன்ட் மொமெண்ட் அவேர்னஸ் அதில் இருப்பதால் நம்முடைய உயிர் சக்தியிலோ ஜீவகாந்த அலைகளிலோ அல்லது உடலிலோ மனதிலோ எந்த ஒரு மாற்றங்கள் வெளிப்புறத்திலிருந்து ஏற்பட்டாலும் உடனுக்குடன் அதை கவனித்து அதை நம்மால் சரி செய்து கொள்ள இயலும். இவ்வாறாக கிரக நட்சத்திர தோஷங்களிலிருந்து நம்மை பாதுகாத்து கொள்ள முடியும். அதே போல உயிரினுடைய தூய்மை, இந்த குண்டலினி தியானத்தை பயிலும் பொழுது உயிர் தூய்மை பெறுகிறது. அவ்வாறு உயிர் தூய்மை பெறுவதால் சித்த சுத்தி, மன தூய்மை ஏற்பட்டு மனதில் ஏற்படுகின்ற 6 வகையான தேவையில்லாத குணங்களும் நல்ல குணங்களாக நம்மால் மனதில் மாற்றிக்கொள்ள முடிகிறது. மனம் என்பது ஒரு மந்திர சாவி. அது எதை நினைக்கிறதோ அதுவாகவே மாறக்கூடிய மிகப்பெரிய ஆற்றல் தன்மை பெற்றது. நாம் தவத்தின் பொழுது குண்டலினி சக்தி, எந்த சக்தி இந்த பிரபஞ்சத்திற்கு, பிரபஞ்ச இயக்கத்திற்கு, பேரறிவுக்கு காரணமாக இருக்கிறதோ அந்த சக்தியையே நாம் நினைப்பதால், அதையே உணருவதால் அந்த தெய்வீக குணங்களையே 6 வகையான தெய்வீக குணங்களை மனதில் ஏற்படுத்தி கொள்ள முடிகிறது. மனம் 4 நிலைகளில் இருந்து செயல்படக்கூடியது: இன்பம், துன்பம், அமைதி, பேரின்பம். தவம் செய்யாத பொழுது பெரும்பாலும் நாம் இன்ப துன்பத்திலேயே உழன்று கொண்டிருக்கின்றோம். புலன் வழி செல்லுகின்ற இன்பம் அதன் அளவு முறை மாறும் பொழுது ஏற்படுகின்ற துன்பம். நாம் நெற்றிக்கண் தியானம் செய்யும் பொழுது மனம் அமைதி நிலையில் நிறுத்தவும், உச்சிக்கண் தியானம் செய்யும் பொழுது மனம் பேரின்ப நிலைக்கு எடுத்து செல்லவும் முடிகிறது. ஆதலால் இன்ப துன்ப நிலைகளிலிருந்து விடுபட்டு அந்த பேரின்ப நிலையை, மனதை கடந்த ஆத்ம நிலையை உணர முடியும். இவ்வாறு எல்லா வகைகளிலும் ஒரு மனிதனுடைய மனதை, மன வளத்தை மேம்படுத்தி ஒரு மனிதனை மாமனிதனாக மாற்றக்கூடிய சக்தி இந்த குண்டலினி சக்தி, இந்த குண்டலினி யோகம் தவத்திற்கு உண்டு. அடுத்து மனிதனுடைய நிறைவான மகிழ்வான வாழ்வுக்கு அறிவினுடைய தெளிவு, அறிவினுடைய நிறைவு, முழுமை பேறு. எல்லாமாக பரிணமித்திருப்பது, விரிந்திருப்பதே கடவுள் அல்லது பிரபஞ்சம். இந்த பிரபஞ்சத்திலே, குறிப்பாக இந்த பூலோகத்திலே ஓரறிவு ஜீவராசிகள் முதல் 6 அறிவு படைத்த மனித இனம் வரை பரிணாமத்திலே நாம் காண்கின்றோம். ஒரு செல் உயிரினம் முதல் இந்த மனித உடல் அமைப்பு வரை பரிணாமத்தின் ஒவ்வொரு கட்டத்திலும் முன்னேற்றம் பெற்றுக்கொண்டே இருக்கின்றது. அந்தந்த நிலைகளில் அறிவு நிலைக்கு ஏற்றவாறு இந்த உடலும் மூளையும் பரிணாமத்திலே முன்னேறிக்கொண்டே இருக்கின்றது. மனித தேகத்தை நாம் பெற்றிருந்தாலும் நம்முடைய அறிவு நிலைகள் ஒவ்வொரு நாளும் முன்னேறிக்கொண்டே, மாற்றம் பெற்றுக்கொண்டே இருக்கிறது. ஆதியிலே மனிதன் தன்னை பாதுகாத்து கொள்ளுகின்ற அறிவை முதலில் அடைந்தான். விவசாயத்தின் மூலம், வேட்டையாடுதல் மூலம் உணவு, பிறகு உடை, தட்பவெப்ப நிலைகள் இதிலிருந்து பாதுகாத்து கொள்வதற்கு உறைவிடம், ஒரு சமுதாய அமைப்புக்கு அரசியல், பொருளாதாரம் போன்ற எல்லா நிலைகளிலும் அடிப்படை அறிவை அவன் வளர்த்து கொண்டான். பிறகு கலை, இசை போன்ற விஷயங்களில் தன்னுடைய அறிவை வளர்த்து கொண்டான். 3ஆம் கட்ட அறிவாக விஞ்ஞான அறிவு, பிரபஞ்சத்தினுடைய தோற்றம், அதிலுள்ள பொருட்கள், அவைகளின் இயக்கங்கள் குறித்த அறிவு, இது விஞ்ஞான அறிவு. இந்த 3 கட்ட அறிவும் சிற்றறிவு, அதாவது புறத்திலே இருந்து புலன்களின் வழியாக நாம் பெறப்படுகின்ற அறிவு. மனிதனுடைய அறிவின் நிறைவு மெய் அறிவு என்ற தன்னை அறிகின்ற அறிவினை அடையும் பொழுது மட்டுமே முழுமை பெறுகிறது. விஞ்ஞான அறிவுகளில் தற்காலத்திலே நாம் மிகவும் தன்னிறைவு அடைந்துள்ளோம், முழுமை பெற்றுள்ளோம். ஆனால் மெய் அறிவு ஏற்பட, அக அறிவு, தன்னிலை அறிவு ஏற்பட குண்டலினி சக்தி, குண்டலினி யோகத்தினால் மட்டுமே முடியும். தன்னை அறிய தனக்கொரு கேடில்லை என்கிறது திருமந்திரம். இந்த குண்டலினி சக்தியினால் ஏற்படுகின்ற மெய் உணர்வு, அதனால் கிடைக்கப்படுகின்ற மெய் அறிவு, அந்த மெய் அறிவினால் நான் யார் என்பதை அறிந்து கொள்ளுதல், இயற்கை கடவுள் தத்துவங்களை நம்மால் புரிந்து கொள்ள இயலும். நமது பிறவியினுடைய நோக்கம், நம்முடைய கடமை, எந்த நோக்கத்திற்காக இந்த மானிட தேகத்தை எடுத்திருக்கின்றோமோ அந்த நோக்கத்தை புரிந்து கொள்ளுதல், அறிவினுடைய தெளிவால் மிக சரியான முடிவுகள், உள் உணர்வினால் முடிவுகளை எடுக்கின்ற திறன். அதே போல எந்த ஒன்றை அறிந்தால், அதாவது நான் யார், நான் ஆத்மா என்கின்ற அந்த ஒன்றை அறியும் பொழுது, உணரும் பொழுது அறிவினுடைய முழுமை பெறுதல். ஒன்றே அனைத்துமாக பரிணமித்திருக்கின்றது, சத்தியம் ஒன்றே, சகலமும் அதுவே என்ற உண்மையை உணரும் பொழுது இயற்கையாகவே எல்லா ஜீவராசிகளிடத்திலும், மனித உயிர்களிடத்திலும் அன்பு, அறிவினுடைய முழுமை, அமைதியான பேரானந்தமான வாழ்க்கையை நாம் வாழ இயலும். குண்டலினி யோகத்தை பயிலும் பொழுது அதனால் ஏற்படுகின்ற நல்ல உடல் ஆரோக்கியம், மனவளம், அறிவு தெளிவு, இவற்றின் காரணமாக எந்த ஒரு தொழிலை நாம் செய்தாலும் முழு கவனத்துடன், முழு திறமையுடன் நம்மை ஈடுபடுத்தி கொள்ளும் பொழுது தானாகவே நமக்கு நிறை செல்வம், வாழ்க்கைக்கு தேவையான அனைத்து செல்வங்களையும் பெறுகின்றோம், தேவையான பதவிகளையும் பெறுகின்றோம். சுயநலமில்லாது பல்வேறு உயிர்களுக்கு, மனித இனத்திற்கு நாம் சேவை செய்யும் பொழுது அந்த சேவையினால் கிடைக்கப்பெற்ற பலனால் ஏற்படுகின்ற அங்கீகாரம், அதுவே புகழ், அந்த உயர் புகழும் நமக்கு ஏற்படுகின்றது. ஒருவரை ஒருவர் புரிந்து கொண்டு நடத்தல், விட்டு கொடுத்தல், சகிப்புத்தன்மை, உண்மையான அன்பு, இவைகள் குண்டலினி யோகத்தால் ஏற்படுவதால் குடும்பத்திலே நல்ல இணக்கம், சமுதாயத்திலே நல்ல இணக்கத்தோடு வாழ முடிகிறது. இவ்வாறு எல்லா நிலைகளிலும் குண்டலினி யோகமானது ஒரு மனிதனை மாமனிதனாக உயர்த்துகிறது. நிறைவான மகிழ்வான வாழ்விற்கு தான் ஆன்மா என்பதை உணர்ந்து தன் சக்திகளை அபிவிருத்தி செய்து அன்றாட வாழ்க்கையில் அதை பயன்படுத்தி தன் கடமைகளை சிறப்பாக ஆற்றி அனுபவிக்க வேண்டியவற்றை முறையாய் அனுபவித்து நல்ல உடல் நலம், மனவளம், அறிவு தெளிவு, நீண்ட ஆயுள், நிறை செல்வம், உயர் புகழ், மெய்ஞானம், பேரின்பமாய் பிறவியின் பெரும் நோக்கை முடித்தல் என்ற குருமகான் அவர்களது கூற்றுக்கு ஏற்ப இவை அனைத்தையும் ஒவ்வொரு மனிதனும் குண்டலினி யோகத்தால், குண்டலினி சக்தியால், குண்டலினி தியானத்தால் நிச்சயம் அடைய முடியும். இதுவே ஒரு மனிதனுக்கு சிறிதும் குறையில்லாத நிறைவான, முழுமையான, மகிழ்வான வாழ்க்கையை அளிக்கும். இக சுகத்திலும் பர சுகத்திலும் ஒரு மனிதன் நிறைவு பெறுவான். பேரின்பத்தோடு சிற்றின்பத்திலும் சீராய் குடும்பத்தில் இருந்து கொண்டே தன் கடமைகளை சிறப்பாக செய்வான். இங்கு நாம் குண்டலினி தியானம், குண்டலினி யோகம் என குறிப்பிடுவது தென்கையிலே உலக சமாதான ஆலயத்தினால் அளிக்கப்படுகின்ற இந்த முறையான தீட்சை மற்றும் மகாசக்தி யோகம், ஜீவரக்ஷா போன்ற பயிற்சி முறைகள். இந்த பயிற்சி முறைகளை முறையாக பயின்று அதனை பயிற்சி செய்து முழுமையான பலனை அடைந்து ஒரு நிறைவான, சந்தோஷமான, பேரின்ப வாழ்க்கையை வாழ்வோமாக. சந்தோஷம், சந்தோஷம், சந்தோஷம்.
Santosham. In the next therapy yoga demonstration, we have Sanjana from the Kids Yoga Students of UPFNA from Omaha, USA, who is going to show us an asana for memory and concentration.
Santosham. My name is Sanjana Jayanti and I am a student here at UPFNA. Today, I'm going to go through some asanas to help you with memory and concentration. But before that, make sure you check with the doctor and make sure you don't have any health complications. And also, always remember to practice these asanas on an empty stomach, either in the morning or in the evening. Practice regularly 15 to 20 minutes to help ease any pain or stiffness in the body. Also, always make sure that you are focused while practicing these asanas. First up, we have Tokukarna. Make sure your heels are together, your toes are apart, and you're holding your ears like I did here. If you aren't able to go all the way down with your heels together, try splitting them apart. During your practice, you should do this 11 times. Next, we have Surya Namaskar, also known as sun salutation. Make sure that during your practice, you do this 3 to 6 cycles. While doing this, make sure that you are focused as much as possible and only concentrating on the asana that you are doing. Let's go ahead and try it with the breathing now. Exhale 1, inhale 2, exhale 3, inhale 4, retention 5, exhale 6, inhale 7, exhale 8, inhale 9, exhale 10, inhale 11, exhale 12. The next one is Padmasana, pretty easy, it's lotus pose. All you have to do is put your feet on the opposite thighs and then hold your hands in Chin Mudra. You do this one time each leg and then hold for 30 seconds each time. Next we have Janusiddhasana, head to knee pose. All you have to do is put your foot in the inner thigh and then bend forward, hold your toes, your ankle or anything, and then you hold this for 15 seconds and you do it one time on each leg. While you're doing this, try and bend forward as much as you can so your knee touches your forehead. Next, we have Siddhasana or Ardha Siddhasana, which is half or full headstand. For half, you just interlock your fingers and then place the top of your head on the ground and then lift yourself up like I am here. For full headstand, you bend your knees towards your chin and chest and then slowly lift your legs up all the way straight and then hold this for 10 to 30 seconds. This does take time, so practice as much as you can. Next up, Sarvangasana or shoulder stand. You lift yourself up to Ardha Halasana and then roll yourself up all the way into Sarvangasana. Make sure that your chin is touching your chest and that your legs are as straight up as possible. You do this one time and hold for about 30 seconds to 1 minute. You do this 1 or 2 times and then hold for 20 to 30 seconds. When you come down, make sure that you look at the tip of your toes and then come back down. Next, we have Vrikshasana, tree pose. You put your leg in your inner thigh and then put your hands all the way straight up and near your ears in like the Namaste pose, and then you hold this for 10 to 15 seconds and you do it twice. Next, we have Natarajasana. This one's easy. All you have to do is bend your leg and hold your ankle or the front of your leg and then put your hand up close to your ears and straight, and then you hold this for 10 to 15 seconds and then again you do this twice. Lastly but not leastly, we have Shavasana, which is corpse pose. Make sure that your hands are facing the ceiling and then your toes are apart. You do this for 3 to 5 minutes. Make sure that you're completely relaxed and you're not focusing on anything or thinking about stuff. Thank you for watching. Santosham.
Santosham. Next, we have a practical demonstration. So get your yoga mats ready and you can do the yoga alongside by watching Mengana Asiriyar Kannan Krishnaswamy from Frankfurt, Germany, who's going to show us an yoga for stress management.
Sandosham. Welcome everybody. Today we are going to see stress management breathing practices to release the stress in 20 minutes. Anyone can practice these simple practices. Let us begin with Guru Geetam, hands in Namaskar Mudra, index finger touching the eyebrow center. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Shakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Bring your hands down in Chin Mudra, index finger touching the thumb, hands on your knees. Now close your eyes, 3 deep long breath. Slowly inhale. When you inhale, your abdomen comes out. When you exhale, your abdomen goes inside. Inhale and very slowly breathe out. Just watch your breath, breathe in and breathe out. Inhale, exhale. Very good. Now open your eyes. Now interlock both your fingers, hands in your abdomen, exactly on your navel region. So when you inhale, your abdomen comes out and press your abdomen and breathe out. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. Inhale. Nicely press to the abdomen. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 Relax your hands on your knees. Close your eyes. When you inhale, your abdomen comes out. When you exhale, your abdomen goes inside. Now once again, repeat the same thing. Interlock your fingers, hands on your abdomen. Now breathe in. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. Inhale. exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Relax your hands on your knees. Close your eyes. Now watch your navel region. Connect with your breath. Slowly breathe in and very slowly breathe out. Excellent. Now open your eyes and slowly lie on your back. Slide to the right side or left side. And slowly lie on your back. So hands by the side of your hip, close to the body. Both your legs together, close together, heels together. And slowly take your right leg, bend your knees, hold your right knee with both your hands by interlocking the fingers. Now hold your right knee. Now in this position, slowly breathe in and press your knee close to the chest. Exhale and relax. By holding the knee again, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in. Exhale, press, relax. Exhale, inhale. 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 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now press your knee close to the chest. Now breathe in, breathe out, chin to the knee. Be there, hold, do the normal breathing. And very slowly relax your head down, relax your arms down, and slowly stretch your right leg. Now close your eyes, observe the difference between the left abdomen and the right side of your abdomen. Feel the lightness in your abdomen. With the same awareness, hold your left knee, hold your knee with both your hands by interlocking your fingers. And slowly breathe in, press your knee towards your chest. Exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. In, 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 out. Now press your knee towards the chest. Now breathe in, exhale, chin to the knee. Hold in this position. Do the normal breathing. Slowly relax your head down by breathing in. Relax your arms and relax your legs. Now observe your abdomen. Deep, long breath. Now again, take both your legs, hold both your knees, hold both your knees. Either you can interlock your fingers or hold your knees separately. Now inhale, exhale, press your knee towards the chest. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So when you press, make sure your hip is lifting a little bit up. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, out. In, out. In, out. In, out. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. In, out. In, out. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Breathe in, breathe out. Slowly relax your arms down and stretch both your legs. Relax comfortably on the floor. Your palms facing the roof. Now close your eyes. Now watch your abdomen. Focus your abdomen breathing. When you inhale, your abdomen comes out. And when you exhale, your abdomen goes inside. Connect with your navel region. Now again, bend your knees, fold both your knees. Hold your knees with both your hands. Press your knee towards the chest. Now inhale. Again, keep pressing. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Inhale. Exhale. Now hold your knees. Now breathe in. Slowly breathe out. Lift your head up. Chin touching the breathe in. Observe your normal breathing. And very slowly relax your head down. Relax your arms down. And stretch both your legs. Observe your abdomen. Slowly breathe in. Very slowly breathe out. Connect with your navel region. We do it once again. Again, bend both your knees. Hold both your knees with both your hands. Breathe in. Press. Relax. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Now breathe in. Slowly breathe out. Lift your head up. Chin touching the ground. Do the normal breathing. Inhale, relax your head down, relax your arms down, slowly stretch both your legs straight. Observe your navel region. Slowly breathe in and very slowly breathe out. Excellent. Now slowly turn to the left side or right side. Take your right hand back, turn to the left side or right side. Slowly come to the sitting position. Now bring your hands to the knees in Chin Mudra. Close your eyes. Feel your breath. Feel your navel region. Slowly open your eyes. Now close your right nose with your right thumb. Lift your left arm up. Breathe in. Breathe out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. Inhale. Exhale. 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 Relax your hands down in Chin Mudra. Close your eyes. Feel the difference between the left nostril and the right nostril breathing. With the same awareness, close your left nose. Inhale, bring your right arm up. Breathe in. Breathe out. In, out. In, out. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, 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 exhale. Relax your hands down. Close your eyes. Slowly breathe in, slowly breathe out. Connect with your breath. The more we go with the breath, our mind gets relaxed. Slowly open your eyes. Now we do Nadi Shuddhi Pranayama in the ratio of 1:4:2. 1 represent inhalation, 4 retention, 2 exhalation. So we are going to inhale for 3 seconds, hold for 12 seconds, and exhale for 6 seconds. Now take your hands in Nasya Mudra, fold your index finger and your middle finger, turn your palms towards your face. Now with your right thumb, close your right nose, inhale to the left, hold your breath, and exhale to the right. Similarly, inhale to the right, hold your breath, exhale to the left. Now we will do with counting. Close your right nose with your right thumb. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Left inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale right. 1, 2, 3. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3. Hold your breath. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, right. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Left exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale left. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, right. 1, 2, 3, hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slowly relax your arms. Close your eyes. Observe your normal breathing with the same awareness. Slowly lie on your back. Slide to the right side. Lie on your back, hands by the side of your hip. Close your eyes. Let your breath move along with my voice. Slowly inhale. Exhale. Make yourself very comfortable on the floor. Breathe in. Breathe out. Observe your left leg. Inhale. Relax. Observe your right leg. Breathe in. Relax. Observe your pelvis, your lower back, your genitals. Inhale. Relax. Observe your spine, your back shoulders, your lower back. Inhale. Relax. Your abdomen, chest, lungs, your heart. Inhale. Relax. Your left arm, right arm, your shoulders. Breathe in. Relax. Your neck, throat, your chin, cheeks. Inhale. Relax. chest, forehead, breathe in. Relax. Your brain, your skull, inhale. Relax. Your body is totally relaxed. Ooh. Observe your normal breath. Slowly shake both your legs, your arms. Slowly stretch your arms up, tighten your whole body. Relax. Turn to the left side, right side, and slowly come to the sitting position. Hands on your knees. Slowly rub your hands. Place your hands on your eyes. Feel energy from your palms, your eyes. Relax your hands down. Thank you very much. Santosham, santosham, santosham.
Hello all, Santosha. With this, we are completing all the sessions and all the speakers and all the live practical sessions are over. Now, Jairam ji will do the raffle drawing for all the speakers today. And we will also do a raffle drawing for all the participants who were here throughout the day. So we have the complete list. So we will do it offline and we will send you an email with the all the details if you have won the. Let's watch the wheel spinning to see who is the lucky winners today. Okay, so Shrimai from the Kids Yoga Omaha is one of the winner. Oh, Ambika Ramasubramaniam from Omaha, USA is the second winner. Aarti Shri Parthiban from Santa Clara, USA is the next winner. Congratulations on winning the raffle. So as I said, we will do the raffle drawing for all the participants who were there throughout the day on and off. So we'll get all the list and we will do the raffle drawing and we will send you an email if you have won any of the raffle. So all the sessions which happened today are all available in the website KYGC 2021 / on-demand speaker -video. You can check for the exact link details in the agenda. It will be there for a couple of days. If you want to go and watch the session again, it is available. So now I request our president, Dr. Jairamji, to give vote of thanks.
Santosham, everybody. Very good evening to one and all. First of all, we would like to pay our obeisances to Guru Mahan at his holy feet for his complete blessings to conduct this event successfully. Without that, the idea of even conducting this event would not have been possible. So we humbly pay our obeisances to him. Secondly, we have to thank a ton to the speakers who gave us the content. Again, without that content, conference is nothing. And they did such a wonderful job, took all the effort to give us the right content at the right time. So we were able to compile all of them at our own pace and submit to the audience. So thank you so much, speakers, for that. So that is where we did the drawing just now for the speakers alone. Third thing is UPF India did a wonderful job of communicating to all the participants in their list as well. So we heartily thank them for that, for all their support as well. Apart from their communication, a lot of volunteers, even from UPF India, were helping us, especially as across the globe, like from Singapore, Malaysia, and then Germany, and so forth. So we thank all those volunteers. We also thank our own UPFNA team members, especially our founder, Shashireka, and our long-term director, Ravi Pillai, for their day and night hard work to get this going, getting the content ready, getting the agenda prepped, and so forth. So thank you so much for that. We also want to thank Ramya ji, Malati ji, Krishna ji for all their communication and hosting this event as well. Thank you, Ramya ji, for being the MC for this event. Last but not the least, we want to thank all the participants for taking time to listen to our wonderful sessions and supporting us with their generous donations as well. So if I've missed anybody, yes, one special thanks to the kids who gave us background music as well, especially Advait Namashivaya and Swasanya Jayaraman, who gave us background music for piano and violin. So thank you so much, kids, for that, as well as Kids Yoga students who gave us the videos for doing some practical sessions during these sessions. So once again, thank you so much all. Have a wonderful evening. Over to you, Rameji.
Sure. Thank you everyone again for joining us today. So hope we take away some important aspects from today's knowledge session that they have shared, and let's take steps to practice more of Kundalini Yoga. Thank you all for joining us. With this, we end the session. Thank you so much. Have a good evening. Santosham.